Lfhp Kankvali College, Kankvali, Assistant Teacher Mahadeshwar MV. Yesterday we have gone through 2.1 Song of the Open Roads poem, and we have concentrated on half portion of the poetic devices. Today we are going to see the remnant part of the same. So yesterday we have gone through some few parts. So first of all I will take the revision in very few moments. First of all we have gone through the actual poem, in which line what kind of poetic device could we find. First of all we have seen alliteration. Secondly we have seen metaphor. Thirdly we have seen repetition and its examples. Later on we have seen tautology. After that we have gone through paradox, self-contradiction, and now we are going to see the next part of the same, that is climax. So already I mentioned that in which line you could find out climax, such as that there is no any kind of postponing, no complaints, then no libraries, then no criticism, querulous criticism. So querulous criticism, that would be the example of tautology also. In Because there are two different words are indicating the same idea, so obviously that could be tautology, no doubt. But suppose they could ask you the whole line, then definitely you have to mention that it is climax one. So what is meant by climax? Many times at the movies level you have seen climax the element, but that climax and this climax is slightly having difference. In a poetic world, or in poetry, in poetic devices world, the climax would be what? So climax, in very short manner, the images or the ideas or the thoughts are presented in ascending order. Ascending, you know that 1 2 3 4, so going from smallest to the highest one, that is called climax, ascending order. So in short, climax means ascending order of ideas, thoughts or emotions. For example, a very simple prosaic example I will offer you, that he came, he saw, he won. I repeat, he came. The minor activity is mentioned first. He came. After that, what happened? He saw. The latter activity, heightened activity after the arrival, that is came. So what that one? He had seen everyone. And what is the highest of the idea? He had won the attention of the each and every person. So this is called arrangement of ideas in ascending order. Such a kind of element or poetic device is called climax. Is that clear? So in exam point of view, definitely I am going to explain this, but let me tell you first of all related exam. In exam you have to just name that. Suppose they would ask you that name and explain, then you should write the spelling correctly of climax, and later on in explanation part you have to mention that the ideas are arranged in ascending order. I repeat, the ideas are arranged in ascending order. So already I had sent you the image where I had given you how to explain any poetic device. So here I am repeating the same as we are having explanation. So climax means what? The arrangement of ideas in ascending order. And for exam point of view, we must know that what is the explanation. The ideas are arranged in ascending order. So now we are having the theory part. Climax, it is a literary device in which the parts of a sentence or paragraph are so arranged that Each is built above its predecessor in importance or impressiveness. In different words, they have talked about the same thing in simple term I mentioned. After that, they have given you one example from Ulysses of Tennyson, the famous poet, English poet. They have given you two examples from that. So you could read that and definitely you would find. So now we are going for the enchantment. In your textbook, they haven't given any kind of explanation for this or attention for enchantment, but as it is the highlighting feature of Walt Whitman's poetry, I must talk about it, as we are not only dealing with the examination but also we are reading the poetry of Walt Whitman, so we must know all the nooks and corners and features of him or his poem. So enchantment is a kind of poetic device which is based on the arrangement of the sentence, arrangement of the thought. So what is that? Enchantment, in two different ways you can utter that particular word. How? They have given you the phonetic script of it. So it is noun. The continuation of a sentence without a pause beyond the end of line, couplet or stanza. So you would find out if you have gone through that poetry thoroughly, or now also you can check back that particular poem of Walt Whitman. It takes 2 minutes for going back to that poem. There you could get that there the sentences are going on and going on, is it? So the one idea is overlapping to the next line and next line, having continuation. You can't see that one idea is having stoppage only at one line, it is having continuation towards the next few lines. So this called enchantment. I repeat, the continuation of a sentence without a pause beyond the end of a line, a couplet or stanza. So this is called enchantment. One more way to express that: enchantment is the continuation of a sentence or clause across a line break. So that is called continuation of the same thought or sentence. For example, the poet John Donne. John Donne is the famous metaphysical poet. Metaphysical means what? The person who is thinking and having thoughts or having expression after this death, what could be the life, some kind of related god, such a godly figures and all. This is called metaphysical. So John Donne's main approach is writing metaphysical content. So John Donne uses enchantment in his poem The Good Morrow. He has written one poem, The Good Morrow. So in that he had written enchantment, means he has used the element poetic device enchantment. When he continues the opening sentence across the line break between the first and second lines, I wonder, by my troth, what thou and I did till we loved. So there you could get here, this is called enchantment. So no doubt you could find commas and all, but the ideas are floating or flowing throughout the next lines. So this is called enchantment, continuation of a sentence or clause across a line break. Now we should see inversion. Already I pointed that many of the teachers and also some of the books have mentioned that in the very first line, strong and content I, or at the same page at the bottom level you could get the same but actually it is not. We can use strong and content as it is because that is the description of I, the pronoun. So we will discuss that later on, but first of all let me read this explanation, and in very simplest manner I will explain you how to identify inversion, what is the meaning of inversion. But let me first of all read the given slide. Inversion, also called anastrophe. In literary style and rhetoric, the syntactic reversal of the normal order of the words and phrases in a sentence. As in English, the placing of an adjective after the noun, it modifies the form divine. A verb before its subject came the John, or a noun preceding it. See, nothing is difficult in inversion here. How? How to identify that? In simple term, what they have talked here, inversion, another name is anastrophe. Is that? I think that is clear to you, that another name of inversion is anastrophe. In literary style or rhetoric, what is the use of inversion? That inversion is syntactic reversal. Syntactic means what? The structure of the sentence. How should be the structure of the sentence? So, in Marathi language, the structure of the sentence, you know that mi amba khato. So the subject came first, later came object, and at the end we got verb. But in English one, the syntactic level is different one. What is that? First came subject, after that you have to use verb, and at the end we have to use object or anything, a adverbial or complement even we can use. That is usual prosaic structure or proper structure in English language. Or one more structure could be found in English language where we are having verb as starting. But in that we need imperative statement. For example, do it. I repeat, do it, or do the homework, complete the homework, distribute the files. So here we start with the verb, but after that the word came that the files, do the work, what to do, the work, or distribute the file. So in that you have seen verb is at the starting, but later on that didn't have the subject. It is what? Having object. For example, distribute the files. Ask the question, what distribute? You get the answer, files. And you know that when we are getting the answer of what question in one sentence, that is called object. So what is the structure of that in English language? Either the first one, S plus V plus O oblique C oblique A, or another structure is there of English, that is verb plus object and RPS, means remnant part of the sentence, that you can find. But in poem, poet and poetess, they are having such a kind of freedom, because poetry is free expression of the mind, spontaneous overflow of our powerful feeling. That is the definition of poetry. And when we are doing that, we cannot bind ourselves in four boundaries of prosaic. The structure, we can have some modification in the structure, but that does not mean that poet or poetess is not having that knowledge of English language. They have that, but to create one different kind of impact, to influence the reader, they are using such a kind of modifications. And to do that, they are using inversion. Inversion, what that mean? Syntactic reversal, what that mean? Actually S plus V plus O, but in poetry you would find V at the starting, after that immediately you would get S, and later on you will get object. That would be the reversal of syntax, or interchanging the words, changing their positions. So that line couldn't be seen in proper prosaic order. So that change in that prosaic order, proper prosaic order in poetic line is called inversion. Are you getting that? So what is that? Inversion means syntactic reversal of the normal order. Normal order, just I mentioned two sorts of orders I mentioned, S plus V plus OCA, or verb plus object and RPS, means remaining part of sentence. That is normal order of the words and phrases in a sentence, especially in English language. So they have given you here two examples. How to understand that? So they have mentioned one example. Actually, or in general, we are saying that the divine form. So here divine is adjective and form is noun. But in poem you could use such a kind of statement. What is the modification? The form divine. The form divine, what is that? It is inversion example, where that adjective which should be at the first no, that is interchanged its position with form. For what sake? Why we have to use that? To create a kind of influence on the reader's mind. So such a kind of change of the prosaic order is called inversion. One more example they have given, that came the dawn. Came the dawn, what that one? Came the dawn. Here came is verb and the dawn is what? Subject of. Actually what should be? The dawn came. Is it? But they have interchanged that. For what sake? Yes, to create the impact on the mind of reader. So, in the exam, what are you going to write? In explanation part. Actually, the sent image by me carried the same everything I had written in that. But as I am explaining here orally, I will again repeat that. In exam, suppose they would give you one sentence where you could find inversion, then you have to name it as inversion, and in explanation part you must write the sentence that I am telling you now. This line is not in correct prose order. This line is not in correct prose order. The correct prose order is ... So you have to mention what is the correct prose order, then only you would get out of out marks. So not only mentioning that this is not in correct prosaic order is expected, but what is that, how should be that prosaic order, that should be also expected from you. So in exam, I repeat, what in explanation you are going to write. This sentence or this line is not in correct prose order. The correct prose order is ... Okay, I think you got good understanding of inversion. Till I will show you one more slide related. What is that? We can find some examples. What that? As a literary device, inversion refers to the reversal of the syntactically correct order of subjects, verbs and objects. That is actually correct version. Is it? But in poetry we can change subject on the place of object, objects on the place of verb, verbs on the subjects. We can do that, but that is only the right of that poet or poetess. For what sake? For poetic creation. Here they have choice one particular example of that inversion. What's that? For example, it's syntactically correct to say, yesterday I saw a ship. What is the correct version? Yesterday, I is subject, saw is verb. What saw? A ship is object. An inversion of this sentence could be, yesterday saw I a ship. I should be rhythmic because in poetry we have to use that. In day-to-day language we can't talk in such a way. Otherwise, you know that the people are having different look towards us, approach towards us. Is it? So if you wanted to heighten or attract the attention of the people for some specific reason, you can use that in your poetry. So yesterday saw I a ship, or you can use the inversion, yesterday a ship I saw. But in exam, what you are going to write, now I will explain. Practically we will see. So we have here, practically we will see the examples here and the discussion. In exam, what you are going to write, in what manner you are going to write. So the first example we will have here, the form divine. So suppose they could ask you the question or activity that mention the poetic device in given phrase or line. So answer will be inversion, and in explanation you are going to write that inversion, this line or this phrase. Here we have got phrase, so we have to use the word the phrase. The phrase is not in correct prose order. The phrase is not in correct prose order. The correct prose order is the divine form. Second, came the dawn. Inversion. The phrase is not in correct prose order. The correct prose order is the dawn came. And lastly, suppose they would give you any one of yesterday saw I a ship or yesterday a ship I saw, then what would be the answer of yours in identification? Obviously inversion. And you have to write an explanation. The sentence is not in correct prose order. The correct prose order is yesterday I saw a ship. So that is the explanation of inversion here. I think you have got good understanding of inversion. That was the ending poetic device of today's lecture. So now this is good thought for you at both the levels, or dual reasons behind it. First one, that you should have this thought and absorb at your heart. Wisdom is the ability to skillfully apply knowledge to life. The wisdom is the ability to skillfully apply knowledge to life. So one, that is good thought you would get, is it? Obviously you are getting here the good thought. Secondly, you would get one activity. And what's that activity here you could get? That is, you have to find out as many as, but appropriate, as many as, that does not mean here there is not climax, but you are going to say yes there is climax. It's not like that. Read this thought well, and if you could find out any poetic device in this thought, you have to write that with its explanation. That would be the practice for you. One more activity I am going to give you, that find out as many as the thoughts and find out the poetic device in it. So for today, that much only. For the next lecture, we are coming to see brainstorming activity. But before leaving today's class, I am offering you best wishes for the unit test of October 2020. Your best performance, excellency in each and every paper, and whatever we have studied up to now, read that well, or look at all the activities which I have given to you, study well, and then attempt the answer. Think twice and then write. You have enough time, 1 hour, and as comparative to that, the activity is very simple, very easy. You can easily solve it. Just only have the concentration and complete that. Okay, so complete that particular, means each and every paper you should offer your excellency towards. So once again, I wish you best of luck, and students, stay home, stay safe. Bye for now.